So here's how EnlightenAI works. First, you collect submissions. Most of the time when you're doing these types of submissions, you're going to use your Google Classroom because you're going to make the assignment in Google Classroom with all of your resources and everything that's needed there. So students are going to turn it in on Google Classroom. Now, in order for it to work, the first attachment that's on Google Classroom, that needs to be the one that you want to use with EnlightenAI. So for example, let's say you made a copy of a graphic organizer first, and then students had to fill that out, and then they had to write an essay. When they turn it in, that essay needs to be the first thing that is submitted. You can then choose a rubric, and there's a variety of ways for you to choose that rubric. There are some that already exist, depending on, like if you're doing AP classes, there's quite a few out there that are featured, or you can create your own. And then as you go through and you're grading students' submissions, their submission is going to be over here. So you're going to read that submission, and the AI is going to give feedback based on your rubric right here. So it'll give that feedback, and then it will give the scores, and then you have the opportunity to go in and adjust this feedback. You could even regenerate it if you would like it to do something else. You can adjust these scores as well, and then save and continue. After you do a handful of these, like maybe about 5 or so, the AI is going to be more trained and tuned to what you're expecting, and the feedback will get more in line with what you want to say. Make sure that you always read the student submission and the feedback. Remember, this is a tool to support you, not replace you. And then you have data right here. So you're going to be able to see your student scores right here, and then you can just append this data right here. When you send the feedback, it will get appended to their doc. So it will just go actually at the very top of their document. So it's the first thing that they see. So the students get it immediately. So right with that, this feedback is timely. You got it, boom. We're looking through here. Yes, it takes time for you to read it, but you're able to give them very good feedback in a very short amount of time. So thinking about that, how accurate is it? Well, when this study was done, with this, I'll link this research data, but when this study was done between EnlightenAI and human graders on a 5-point rubric scale, over half of them had an exact match, and 45% were within 1 point plus or minus on that scale. That is, the research shows that is actually better and more consistent than what human graders would do. So for example, if you took 200 human graders and had them all score these essay submissions on a 5-point scale, you would have more variance than this, right? So this is very accurate in it and very detailed. So thinking about that, what types of assignments can the adaptive AI grading assistant be most helpful? And then what classroom routines would you be able to establish that leverage the AI grading assistant? So take a moment to think about that, right? And so this AI grading assistant, this is students submitting it and not getting the immediate feedback. This is you looking at some of their final work right here. And so that could be something that's in the process, right? Maybe they submit their rough draft and you're able to give them that feedback very quickly and then return it back to them. But I think it definitely requires you to think differently about your assignments. Do I only want to give them feedback at the very end when they're submitting it and they're maybe quote unquote done with the assignment, or do I want to give it during the process still? So I think it can be useful in both cases, but I think that you have to establish routines where students are going to take feedback and then continue working and improving their assignment before they actually submit the final version.